welcome back to my channel. I'm Surabi, and today I don't have my headphones on. So what does that mean? It means we're making some manga content for today. So I have low-key been accumulating so many mangas for the last maybe month, and I am gonna be honest, the last time I did a manga haul of any a manga haul of any sort, English is not Englishing for me, not like it ever does, but the last time I did a manga haul of any sort has been a little over 2 years ago. I believe so. Yeah, it's been about a year, almost 2 years. I'm pretty sure it's been that long. I could be wrong, but it has been a definite long while since I've done any sort of like real, like trying to complete whatever is like missing in my collection, or just like maybe picking up a new series. It's been a hot second. So today we're doing a manga haul, and it's a chunk. It's not a lot. I don't know how many volumes it is. We'll figure it out when we get there. Maybe there's going to be a tally. Maybe there's not. I don't know. But we're definitely doing a manga haul for today. Anyways, so I'm going to be showing off what I got maybe in store, maybe what I got online. And maybe you'll see a title that you are also wanting to pick up. Or maybe you see a title that you already have. If so, let me know. Let me know so we can talk it out, because I love talking about manga, and that's why I'm doing this. So please talk to me about manga. But anyways, with all that being said, let's get into this video. So I may not have lied, but I definitely picked up a little bit more than just manga when I was in stores. I picked up a few light novels that caught my attention when I was in the store, a little wrapped light novel with a little love story. And I know this is not for everybody, but I picked up a few spicy light novels, and I haven't fully immersed myself in this yet. I read maybe a few pages in each of them when I was picking them up in stores in Barnes & Noble, and a girl was intrigued, and you can't be mad at a girl for being intrigued. So these are the 3 titles that I picked up right there. So the first one is The Villainess and the Demon Knight, which is basically this girl gets taken into a new world, very quintessential, a very quintessential isekai story that is happening, and she basically reincarnates in an otome game, and she is a villainess, which I don't really think is true. I don't know if it's true for all villainous stories, but I feel like in this one it's particularly not true, because what ends up happening is that she becomes the fiance of the king of this world, or the prince of this world, and she is, I guess at one point she was in love with him before she reincarnated in this life, and when she reincarnates again, she does not like the prince, and the prince is a player, and he is doing everything and anything that's moving. And this, oh my god, this is her knight that gets assigned to her, and he is madly in love with her, and he is the strongest knight in the royal knights, yes. And what ends up happening is something happens in the story, and she and the prince's engagement gets broken off, and she gets sold into becoming maybe not a courtesan, but she gets sold into a brothel essentially, and he rescues her, but he plans all of this, so he has wanted to be with her since the moment he laid eyes on her. So that's sort of the story. There's a few illustrated pages in all 3 of them, but like in here, and you know what, it kind of makes everything just settle, anyways. The next one is The Obsessed Mage and His Beloved Statue Bride. She cannot resist his seductive voice. And this is another sort of spicy manga. Basically, the story is this woman right here, she was a mage, and at one point he was her young apprentice, and he is crazy powerful even when he was a child, and she basically saved him from getting, because the kingdom deemed him too powerful to just sort of roam around, and he was in shackles, and her mage sort of mentor asked her to take him in, and I know it sounds really weird, but what ends up happening is that she gets set to go defeat a demon, or like a low ranking demon, and what ends up happening is that it's a dragon, and she like freezes herself in a statue, and for 20 years she is in the like body of a statue, so she doesn't know what's going on. And then one day 20 years later, the spell is broken, and she's face to face with her former apprentice, who is now 30 something years old, and she is still the 28-year-old that, you know, she knew him as. It's a very weird storyline. That's not what I saw when I picked it up, because I only read the title and I was like, interesting, and you're coming home with me, and then I read the back and I was like, oh, this might be a little weird, and we'll see how it goes. I think this is just a one-off, so we'll see how this goes, but very long title. Then we have The Loyal Soldier, Lustful Beast. Gonna be honest, I don't really know what this is about. I saw the cover art and it's gorgeous, and I flipped through and I saw some of the manga, or not manga, but like the illustrated pages. Gorgeous. All three of them have gorgeous artwork, so you know, there's something to look forward in this one. But the story is a noble woman's life is turned upside down when she's summoned to serve the king as his concubine, and her heart already belongs to her manservant, a soldier who worships the ground she walks on. And just as Giselle accepts that her blissful days are numbered, Wallace steals into her room in the palace with a desperate, hungry gaze, and they spend a night together, and we see where the story goes, because I think, no, this is also a one-off. I think the villainess in the Demon Knight is the only one that has like 3 volumes, at least that I know of. But yeah, so these are my first few in-store buys. So alright, so next up we have Snow and Ink. I'm going to try not to dive too deep into any of the mangas that I bought, because I don't think we all need that, but if you do need that, let me know. So this one is called Snow and Ink, and I'm trying to phase out of this like shonen / seinen niche that I have in like most of my mangas, and I'm trying to pick up some romance here and there, and like just grow as a person, you know, character development. And this seemed like it was up my alley while still being something different from what I would usually choose, which is like the romance genre. Even though I love romance in like chapter books, I have yet to really like it in manga, but this is a start. So basically, I bought the first 3 volumes, and the story is interesting, and it's basically this guy right here is sentenced to death, or like he's on the death row for murdering his entire village, and this girl right here is a rich heiress, and she buys his freedom, and they're both sort of outcasts, obviously, because of the crime that he commits, and she's just sort of an outcast in her own right. I'm not really sure why, because I haven't read it yet, but basically what happens is they sort of pack up and leave and just go into like the mountains, I think, and they're learning to sort of like find comfort and warmth in one another. And yeah, I think that's sort of how this the first summary goes for the first volume, but I'm excited. I don't think I've ever read anything by this mangaka, and the artwork also looks very, very pretty, so I'm excited. It's looking like it might be a little bit of like a little comedic, and I'm excited because sometimes I do love me a little like romantic comedy. Maybe not romantic comedy, but like, you know, a little comedy in the stuff that I'm reading. It helps hold my attention. But yeah, this manga is also very, very nice. Like, I don't know if you can hear it. Oh, it feels really, really nice. But I think this is like a 7-volume series. It's major. It's kind of the main reason why I picked it up, because I lack space. So shorter series are the way to go for me personally. But yeah, I'm excited to see where this story goes. So stay tuned if you want to know what happens in this story. All right, so next up we have The Summer Hikaru Died. And as of right now, I only have the first 2 volumes. Again, this is something that I don't usually venture into because horror slice of life is not my genre usually, but I'm excited to try this out. I watched something crazy about me is I'm the type of person that I don't care about spoilers, because regardless of whether or not you tell me how a story goes, I am still going to enjoy it the way that I'm going to enjoy it. So I went down a rabbit hole of like manga analysis videos of the summer that Hikaru died, and I was really intrigued by the storyline. And basically, I'm pretty sure, I feel like at this point everybody knows what the story of the summer Hikaru died. And the anime just came out like maybe a few weeks ago or a month ago, and I am really excited. I think I'll read the manga first and then I'll end up watching the anime, but I'm excited. And also these like covers, they're so visually gorgeous. Like, I know a lot of people love manga covers that are very like explosive and like, they have a lot of art to it, and it shows off like the mangaka's like art style and stuff. But I am also like a huge lover of very minimalistic manga covers, because sometimes they just look so much more like cleaner, they just look so much more visually like beautiful. Like, I know the other volumes are like pink and purple and like orange and stuff like that, and I'm really excited to get all of them. So I'm excited for the summer Hikaru days. So yes. Then we just have a follow-up or an add-on. Maybe not a follow-up. We have an add-on to D.GrayMan. I loved D.GrayMan as an anime growing up, like watching it, because it was so good, and I loved Alan Walker's as a protagonist. He was not like the typical shonen protagonist that you saw like maybe in Naruto or in like Luffy or in like maybe even I would say in Ichigo, like, all of the sort of like very, very shonen-esque archetype. Loved Alan Walker. So I'm excited. I have not read the manga for D.GrayMan, and I know it's technically on hiatus, so I think the mangaka is just slowly releasing volumes as she can. Whenever she releases a chapter, I forgot what is technically called, this manga that is like on indefinite hiatus, and I think there's a bunch of other mangakas that are in this sort of like realm. But whatever she gives me, I will take. I absolutely love this, and her artwork is absolutely gorgeous. Like, beautiful, just beautiful. Like, I can't wait. Anyways, so that is volume 28 of D.GrayMan. Oh my god. Like, see, even though this one is kind of like a lot of, maybe not a lot of things, but there's a lot of elements in the cover art, I absolutely love like the background is minimalistic. Like, you're focusing on the characters. All right, so next up we have Mujina Into the Deep. This is such a pretty cover. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, this sort of like overlay onto the letters is kind of cool. Like, really cool. I'm excited to read this. This is the second volume. I have the first volume somewhere right here. It's the only red volume here. I have not read the first volume nor the second one. I usually pick up maybe 3 volumes of a manga before I fully like commit to reading it and or committing to the entire series. So I don't know if the third one is out just yet. I don't think so. It might be out, it might not be out, but I'm gonna wait to the third volume to invest in the series, or try to invest in the series. But I'm excited. It has a very interesting premise. It's giving maybe post-apocalyptic life, because like the synopsis is, in the near future, human rights aren't guaranteed, but they are for sale. Without your rights, you're just a Mujina, which I'm assuming, is a class of people, with no place to call your own and no laws to protect you. But if the laws don't apply to you, you can do anything you want. You just need the skills to back it up. And if you're really good, you can really make a killing. And I feel like this is up my alley. I don't usually get into dystopian a lot, but I'm trying to character develop. I'm trying to grow up as a person. I'm trying to try new things. But you know, sometimes new things are scary. But I am excited about this. I don't really think I've really read anything by Inio Asano. I think I have maybe one or two other series of his somewhere in my collection. Where I don't know. I remember seeing it when I did the other video. But I never read it. So I'm excited. Oh yeah, I do have a few. Goodnight Pun Pun? Yeah, Goodnight Pun Pun and I think Blood on the Tracks. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. But yeah, anyways, I'm excited to maybe start Inyo Asano in this realm as opposed to being depressed with Goodnight Pun Pun. So yeah. Alright, another one that I am waiting to accumulate 3 volumes to officially start is After God, another dystopian sort of manga. Um, I really don't know much about. Sometimes, and I mean this with all the love in my heart, I don't read the summary of some mangas. I pick it up based on how it looks sometimes. You know how when you go to a store and you're just like, oh, this looks pretty, you're coming home with me? That's how I pick manga sometimes. Sometimes one line will catch me, and that's all you need to get me sometimes. And I think this one was Japan has been invaded by God, and there's nothing left but death and destruction in their wake. And that's all I needed to be like, sign me up for this story. So I also have volume 1 somewhere here. Yeah, this is covered by ATs. But I have volume 1 there. This is volume 2. I know volume 3 is, I think, up until 5 is out, and I just haven't picked it up. Because when I was picking up this one, they didn't have volume 2. 3. Because why? Why would you give me the opportunity to read something in succession? But anyway, so I'm not gonna touch until I get volume 3, but I'm really excited. And also the cover arts. Again, cover arts, gorgeous, because I think this is all in different colors, and it's like this close up sort of situation. Gorgeous, beautiful, love that. Ah, where's the mangas? Like the panels, one that's not gonna hurt. Like, look at that, beautiful. Gorgeous. Ah, I can't wait. I can't wait. Ooh, is there another one? Oh, there's so many. Oh, I can't wait. All right, so we have another series. This is a lot older series because I just love hurting myself in terms of collecting manga. But this is an older series. It's called Samurai Deep Kyo. And it has everything that I love. Everything that I love. And I mean everything that I love. I mean, it has samurais, and it is set in Edo period Japan, because I am a historical nerd for some reason, even though I have no business being a historical nerd, but I do. I love it. I couldn't pass up this offer. This is maybe not the most difficult series to collect, but there are a bunch of volumes in the series that is difficult to collect. So I know I'm hurting myself by doing this, but I just want to be a part of this series so bad. And these were like $4 a pop. Like, I couldn't go wrong. Like, it's just very quintessential early 2000s artwork, and I just love a good samurai story. I can't wait. But anyways, this is basically a story that's set up in Edo period Japan, and the main character, I think, goes by Demon Eyes Kyo, and he is a feared samurai during this time period, and he is his body or his mind, I think his soul, something. His body, his mind, his soul. So one of those things is sealed in his rival, and it is a like pacifist medicine seller, and that seems like a very interesting sort of moral dilemma that is going to be happening in this story for me, and I love a philosophical discussion, so I don't know if it will, but in my head that's what I've built it up to be. So I am excited, and maybe one day I will find volume 1, and maybe one day 2, and maybe one day 3, but as of right now I have 10, 17, 21, and 18. So this might be a battle for the long haul, but I'm excited either way. So Samurai Deep Kyo. Alright, so next we have volume 8 of, or this is volume 7. I think volume 8 is somewhere else in this chaos pile that I have going over here. But this is Asadora by Naoki Urasawa, and You already know that I love Naoki Urasawa so much, but I think for some reason this is one of his most like not beloved works. I believe it's this one. Um, some people don't really like Asadora. I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this simply because it is only 8 volumes, and knowing how Naoki Urasawa writes his stories and how complex his stories are, I don't know if whatever is happening in this series is enough to be covered in 8 volumes, if that makes sense. But you know what? I know that that man can do anything that he puts his mind to, and I feel like he will achieve it no matter what. So I'm excited to get into this. And basically, this is the story of Asadora, and it's basically a kaiju story. In essence, it's about I don't know if it's specifically Godzilla because I remember only reading the first like volume, but basically it's set against a backdrop of like post World War Japan. I believe it's like 1950s Japan, and Asadora is like looking for a doctor for her mother, who I believe is pregnant and is giving birth during like a tsunami. And what ends up happening is that she like mid trying to find a doctor gets kidnapped, and she like convinces the kidnapper to help her, like, save her family or something like that. That's sort of what I remember from the first volume. But what ends up happening is that they find a footprint of this very large animal, and the mystery begins. And I believe the story sort of goes through in quintessential Naoki Urasawa form. It takes place over a series of decades, and I think into 2020, maybe into 2020, and they're trying to like figure out like the mystery of these kaijus that keep showing up, essentially. But yeah, so this is Asadora. I'm so excited. Naoki Urasawa just owns me when it comes to storytelling. Jeez. And then the artwork, I know I'm sort of like spoiling at this point, but like look at that artwork. Love Naoki Urasawa. I can't wait to finish this. Alright, so this is another samurai story that I just know that I'm absolutely gonna fall in love with, or I might hate it. I feel like it's the former, but I'm excited either way. I think I have volume 3, 4, and 5 somewhere else in the chaos that is what's happening over here, and I have volume 1 over here. So I might start reading this ASAP. But this is, I don't know much about this story, and it's giving maybe adventure, maybe slice of life. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna be honest. Again, I picked it up because it says the Blue Wolves of Mibu, and it's samurais. So and basically I believe the story takes place in like the time period. It's the Edo period going into the Meiji period of like Japan. And it's this young, not him, but there's another, like the cover for the first volume has the picture of the main protagonist, and he just wants to, he has a dream, and his dream is to I believe be part of the Shinsengumi, and or the Wolves of Mibu before they become the Shinsengumi. Historical Japan, that time period kind of confuses me a little bit, but yeah, it's essentially just his story and his life training in becoming a member of the Shinsengumi. I believe. I could be wrong. Maybe when I read this story, I'm gonna come back to y'all and I'm gonna be like, absolutely, it wasn't that story. It's a totally different situation that's taking place. But as of right now, I think that's sort of the plot I'm getting from it. It's giving Peacemaker. Peacemaker is a pretty similar series to like, maybe, I don't know. Again, I'm making assumptions and I may make an ass out of myself, but this is giving me maybe a Peacemaker vibe. If you don't know Peacemaker, Peacemaker is also a story of a boy who wants to join the Shinsengumi. But yes, anyways, there is that. That's volume 2. I think volume 3 is somewhere. 4 and 5 is somewhere also. If I find it, maybe I'll just show the covers of it. But yeah, I also really like this artwork. Really pretty. But yeah, either way, I'm excited. Another samurai story to add to my collection. Can never have too many samurai stories. All right, so next one is Ado or Ado. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. I might be butchering the hell out of this. But do you see that? Do you see how like the characters like cut out in the cover is reflecting, but the rest of the manga isn't? That's so pretty. That is so gorgeous. Ah, I'm gonna be honest. This was another one of those where the single line is what caught me, and I just knew I had to read it because why not? And what is the name of it? Okay, strange powers and military conspiracies around this sort of sci-fi. Again, this is stepping out of my comfort zone because I am not a big fan of sci-fi. I don't know why, but I'm not the biggest fan of sci-fi. So this is sci-fi I'm learning to grow. This is another character development moment. But basically, I believe it's her, this woman right here, basically was driving one day and, driving down the road, and she saves this boy from getting hit, I believe, by a car or something. And the sort of story unravels as like, military assassinations are happening and she's trying to protect him from the military and, such and such. I think the backdrop of this sort of story is that there was a lot of immigration happening and a lot of xenophobia happening. And from that, I'm gleaming that I guess people who can control or become sort of these like plant-like beings are the brunt end of that xenophobia. So I'm thinking that's what's happening, or maybe he's sort of like a weapon and the military is trying to get him and use him for some sort of nefarious situation. I'm not sure. That is all conjecture based on what I'm seeing and the little tidbit on the back. So we will see. I'm not big into sci-fi, but I'm trying my best to learn to be open-minded is what I'm trying to be. But yeah. All right. So the next series that I picked up entirely based on the covers and how pretty I thought it looked is Three Exorcism Siblings. Ah, that is so pretty. Oh, it's giving watercolor. I bought the first 3 volumes, so you know a girl is about to start reading this, and I'm so excited. Ah, but gonna be honest, yet again, I don't really know what the story is about. But if we look to the back of this volume, it says, in the mountains above Japan, Mamoru spends his days tending to his family's shrine and fighting Tengu, monsters who feast upon human flesh, and making sure that his 2 younger brothers will never have to pick up his mantle. Unable to escape the life forced upon him by his parents and a dark ritual involving Tengu blood, all he knows is that his existence is a curse. He is destined to die young in the service of others. But to fight monsters, Mamoru must dance the line between a loving older brother and a mindless beast, or else he risks becoming what he's sworn to destroy. So this is giving it's giving a tad bit like maybe, what is it? Oh my god. Oh my god. What is it? Tokyo Ghouls, like becoming the thing that you are wanting to destroy, maybe, or like Attack on Titans. I'm not sure. But that last line gave me that intonation or inclination. And it's also giving, I don't know if anybody's ever read or watched Laughing Under the Clouds, but this is sort of a similar sort of situation where it's like 3 brothers who overlook a shrine and they are trying to uphold their family sort of duty, and the older brother is trying his best to sort of keep his 3 younger brothers from taking up the mantle because his family is cursed. And the curse is that I believe one of the siblings turn into a monster, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm not sure. It's been a few years, but I really, really enjoyed that story. I am starting to like exorcism stories or exorcist related stories. So this seems like it's going to be up my alley, and I'm excited. But like, look at that. Oh my goodness. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah. It's giving not samurai, but it's giving, it's giving it's giving what I needed to give, and I'm excited. That's all I needed to give. Oh, I'm liking. I am excited. Oh, look at that art. I don't want to show too much, but this is good. This is good. This is good. This is pretty, but I'm excited. So there is 3 Exorcism siblings. I don't remember how long this series is. I think this is also another short series. So if you want another short series, we can read this together. But yeah. All right, so I found the other volumes of Blue Wolves of Mibu. I'm not going to go over it again, but that's volume 3, volume 4. Oh, these are so pretty. And then volume 5. All right, I'm only going to assume that those are characters we are going to meet at some point in my reading of this story, but who knows? All right, and then volume 8 again of Asadora that I couldn't find earlier. I'm not going to talk about it, but yeah, this is giving older version of Asadora. But yeah. No, Kurosawa just gets me. All right, so this is another new series that I picked up solely on vibes, because look at this. Tell me you wouldn't pick this up based on vibes. Look at that. Look at that. Very, very simple cover. It's got a heart with flowers coming out of it. Tell me you don't want to know about that and why that's happening. Like, tell me why you don't want to know about this guy and his white hair and why he's dragging something across his lips and why he's looking discontent. Tell me you wouldn't want to know about this man, because it's giving. It's giving everything I need it to give. Look at that. It's just so simple. It's just so beautiful. And I like continuity. Look at that. All of the covers have this, like, you know, one panel and then like an element that's reaching into the panel. It's so pretty. It's gorgeous. I don't even know what the art style in the between the pages look like, but I'm so ready for this. But yeah, this is another one of those one-liners that got me, and it had something to do with whether or not it was ethical about what they were doing in this world. And this is another step out of my comfort zone, because this is sci-fi horror-ish, and I am not a sci-fi girly, and I'm not big into horror, but I am trying, and this is another step out, so I'm excited. And basically in this story, Earth in the distant future is covered in thick clouds, and the sun no longer shines. Plants wither, and oxygen is very thin. And to fight extinctions, humankind have developed a technology that turns humans into plants, as we can see, like the hearts sprouting flowers. But this helps provide a small amount of oxygen. And is this process sustainable? Is it ethical? And Toshiro must consider these qualities as he's faced with a difficult choice to save his family or to save himself. So I am not a philosopher, but I love having these sort of philosophical dilemmas in a story, because it really does make you think about, like, sort of, you know, what we do as humans and how we do it and whether or not it's ethical. And I love that. I don't know why I love these types of stories, but I do, and the fact that it's not in my genre is helping me develop as a person. So yeah, I'm really excited about this, so stay tuned. Alright, so this is continuing my collection with Homunculus volume or omnibus 5 and 6. And this is one that I want to collect all of before I start reading. And it's psychological horror. I love psychological horror because I love to rid chaos upon my own psychology. But I didn't think that I ever get to read this series. I feel like I mentioned this in my manga collection video, where I didn't think I'd ever get the chance to read this series unless I went and I looked online, because to try and read this series, the singles were going, like the whole series, a cool, you know, band. It was going for a lot of money. And Seven Seas. I was gonna say Seven Seas. I was gonna say Seven Seas, and I just wanted to double check. And when Seven Seas announced that they were gonna do reprints of the manga, I was really excited. So basically, this story is of a homeless man who undergoes a medical surgery that gives him the ability to see people's homunculi, or like their inner selves, or what they want to see, or their inner true selves, basically. So I don't really know far beyond sort of the the summary of that, but I am excited to see sort of maybe whatever philosophical dilemma is happening in the story, or sort of, you know, the questions being asked in the story, because I love that shit. I love it. I eat that shit up. Eat it up. I drink it up like it's matcha. I drink it up. I'm so excited. All right, so next, this is filling in the gaps of a series that I already own. It is called Phantom Tales of the Night, and when I tell you, it is so pretty. Just like, it is both minimalistic and not minimalistic at the same time, because there is really just the main character that gets featured in all the covers, but like there's just these extra elements that just make it so weirdly whimsical and just to die for. Like, these are probably some of the prettiest covers I own, and I think this is like on par for me with like Hell's Paradise's covers, because they're just so pretty and they're just so, like, maybe not too abstract, but it's giving abstract at the same time, and so colorful. I love this. But basically, this, I tried so hard. I own already volumes 1 through 4, and I ate that shit up. When I read it, I ate it up. I ate that up. And it is a horror, dark fantasy, maybe not slice of life, but very episodic, which is something I never thought I would like. And I really loved it in this series. And it's a very, I wouldn't call it a simple plot, but it is a very, like, very minimalistic plot, and it has, from what I remember in the first 4 volumes, it has an overarching plot where like all of these sort of maybe small tidbits of mysteries that get solved at the end of the volume add up to something bigger. Could be wrong, but that's what I perceived out of the first four volumes, and I'm excited to see where it goes from there, even though what I have in my hand is not volume 5, 6, and 7, and 8. No, because every time I go to pick up the series, what I need is always out of stock. But anyways, this is volume 8, right? And then I already showed the covers, but this is volume 9. This is volume 10. And then this is volume 11. Or, sorry, I switched it around. This is volume 10. This is volume 11. But yeah. Basically, this is a story of a spirit innkeeper. He is not human. He owns an inn, and he accepts any weary travelers that come through his inn, both human and spirits and oni alike. And basically, the only way to pay for your night stay at this hotel is to give him your deepest, darkest secrets. But we don't know what he's doing with these deep, dark secrets. And that's sort of the culmination of the story that I think is what I'm understanding this plot to be. But it is really interesting. I enjoyed the story so far, even though episodic storytelling is not too like my liking all the time. I'm really appreciating it in the story, so I'm really excited. I need to get 5, 6, and 7, and I will continue the story. And I think this is another short series. I think it stops at like 15 volumes. I believe it's like 15 volumes. It's not that long, but it's interesting. And, you know, maybe it's a palate cleanser for like other series, because it is so episodic. But yeah, I really like this. Alright, we're coming into the last few volumes that I bought. And it's the chunky boys, because I love me a chunky boy. Berserk. I put off, so this is just volumes 3, 4, and 5. I have volume 1 and 2. I finished volume 2. I'm enamored with the story, and I'm excited to continue on. I don't know why I waited as long as I did to read the series, but I did a disservice to myself, because it's so good. It's so good. My brother is a huge fan of Berserk, and one day I bought him the first like deluxe edition of volume 1, and then I bought myself one because I was like, I'm gonna read this. And then, you know what, I didn't read it for 2 years. I had the first volume for 2 years and I didn't read it, and one day I cracked it open and I was enamored. The story is crazy, and it's giving everything I needed to give. And again, I'm not the type of person that cares about spoilers. It's too late for me to care about spoilers. It's now 30 something years old, this series. And I was watching a whole bunch of analysis videos, and I was like, oh, the more I like listened about it, the more that I've come to appreciate the story, and I cannot wait to continue on to read Berserk. So we got this. It'll probably take me like 2 weeks to finish these, and then I'll grab the next set of volumes because I need it so bad. But yeah, so Berserk. And then last but certainly not least, it is a volume 4 of Vinland Saga. Even though I don't have volume 3. I only have volume 1 and 2. I was just, at this point, I was buying what was available because it was at a decent price. I loved Vinland Saga. I have a really bad tendency of not wanting to like experience hyped things when it's hyped. I'm a contrarian, and that's all I can say is that I don't like things when they're so hyped. I like to find them when the hype dies down, and that is such a bad habit of mine. And I did it with Vinland Saga, and I didn't even read it or watch it yet. I was just watching, again, a lot of analysis videos about it, and I was like, oh, this seems like something that I would fucking love. And I absolutely love it. I loved it. I think I watched up until episode when Ragnar dies. Spoiler. When Ragnar dies is when I watched it into the anime, and then I started reading it. I like the manga more, obviously, because, you know, it's the manga, but I really like this more. I used to have the hardback editions of Vinland Saga, and then when I saw that they were doing the re-releases in the deluxe editions, I said, yeah, this, I know a lot of people like those different colored hardbacks. I love that for you, but this just is such a clean look to me, and I needed to have it, and it's just so nice. Oh, so pretty, so nice. Fucking loved it. And I like that they're doing that 2 and 2 colors. I believe it's like every 2 volumes is like a different color, and I don't know why, but I seem to like that more than the variety of colors that the hardbacks had. So anyways, I'm excited to continue to read this story. I am reading the second deluxe edition, and I'm excited. So even though I technically knows what happens in that part of the series, I'm excited to keep going. So excited. We are finally done. I don't know how many volumes of manga that is. What is the final tally of the manga? But yeah, we're finally done. I feel like I talked so much. I feel like I don't usually talk this much because I'm usually reacting to videos, and hearing myself talk this much is kind of crazy. But yeah, anyways, that was a good manga haul. I had picked some stuff up in stores like Kinokuniya and Barnes and Noble, and some local comic book shops in the Boston area, and I feel like I did pretty good. I filled a few gaps, and I definitely started a lot of them, but you know, I like to be chaotic, and I feel like I just can't go against my nature of chaos. But I'm excited to get into a lot of the series that I bought. I hope that you find one out of my very, very messy synopsises of these different series that I showed you. Maybe you found one that you might want to try yourself if you want to step out of your comfort zone like I am trying to, or maybe you have one and you can tell me how you liked it, because I love to hear people's manga experience. So please, please, please tell me. I'm so excited. But yes, I don't know how often I will do a manga haul. I'm going to be completely honest. Usually I'll do very big ones, maybe at the beginning of the year and the end of the year, because that's when a lot of sales happen. So maybe I'll have another one at the end of the year. I might not. I'm not sure. But yeah, this is a decent sized. I usually, when I do manga hauls, it's a lot, like maybe 100 plus volumes sometimes, but I was tamed, I was demurred, I was trying to be good in terms of spacing, but the day that I unhaul a lot of stuff that I don't want anymore is the day that my shelves will hate to see me coming. But that's a story for another day. But anyways, I also wanted to say that I have a Notion. Notion is basically just like a platform where you can sort of create a bunch of different things that you need. It's very weird. I don't know how to adequately describe what Notion is, but I have my library in Notion. So I have like a spicy library, I have a light novel library, and I have my manga library in there. So if you sort of want to see what I do have in my manga library or other parts of my library, you can definitely check it out. I'll just link I'll put the links in the description box down below. I also do like reviews in my Notion, so if you like open it, you can like see sort of if it's something that I've already read, I will have sort of a review of it in there. So if you want to know my thoughts on those mangas, you definitely can. No pressure, you don't have to, but it's there if you want to look at, if you want to peruse it, if you want to steal some recommendations, please do. But yeah, I'm excited. I hope you enjoyed this manga haul. If you saw something you liked, or if you see something that you want to pick up now, let me know in the comment box down below. But anyways, you can mainly catch me here on this channel for reaction videos. If you like K-pop reaction videos, you can come watch more videos. Please do. I usually upload twice a week, and manga content is very sparse for right now, as I'm working through my life and figuring myself out as an adult. But yeah, I will hope to come with more manga stuff, and I'm excited. But yeah, you can catch me back here for reaction videos, and you can catch me here for some manga content. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you come back. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace, y'all.